Don't let CCP forget its promise just because the forums are gone. You can see here a promise made to us in the second paragraph. We are supposed to receive tiered recognition rewards. So don't let CCP forget that just because the forums are gone. Okay, enough of that. On with the show.
Hey everybody, check it out. What's up? It's Heracles Porsche's professional intro. Yay!
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Heracles Porsche, also known as Guildlock in other places. And I just wanted to touch base with all the people who are here in the Dust 514 YouTube channel, now using DB's footage. Incredibly grateful for DB's continuing to allow me to use his footage to produce more content. And yeah, this is just a quick little touching base video. I actually, believe it or not, this game that's been gone for over a year, I feel like I have a pretty big buildup of kind of topics I want to discuss with the Dust 514 community. We're going to just get to them in a sec because I got a really positive response to the last video I did, and you know, the idea of using DB's footage. It's been really well received, so I'm really grateful for that. And I just wanted, yeah, just wanted to do a little touching base video. There's a before I get lost in a whole random stream of consciousness that came from reading all your comments in the last video. Well, first let me say again, very grateful for the overwhelmingly positive response, especially because, you know, this is a collaboration with the Beast. I know all that positivity is probably just because you love the Beast and just miss him so much. It has nothing to do with me or my ideas, but I don't know what I'm saying. But no, it's good stuff, and I'm really glad you guys like the idea of me using the Beast footage to extend the lifespan of this channel, and you just generally liked what I was saying in the video. So, and remembering the good times, and I am still here, missing the Dust 514 forums a whole bunch. I'm sure you guys are too. And again, but there's a big elaborate stream of consciousness I have about you know, the Dust 514 community and all the feedback I've gotten. Before I get lost in that, I just want to talk about really interesting. Someone reached out to me on Reddit to let me know about a job offer that not a job offer, well, a job opportunity that had opened up at CCP. It's for Project Nova community development, and this is, I could do an entire long video just ranting about this and whether I'd take the job, and but it's just really interesting because the criteria for the job, I think I could do it. The thing reads, are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? CCP is looking for an experienced social media and community development specialist to build, manage, and grow the community for Project Nova and other CCP projects. The community developer will work a successful candidate be well versed in current upcoming social media platforms such as Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Reddit, Discord. I know how to do those things, and YouTube. I know I can do those things. Yay! I could get that job. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Of course, there are. Honestly, if I anyway, I'm not really making it clear how I feel about taking that job. I know it came off a little sassy, probably sarcastic sounding, but I would never rule something like that out. It's very interesting to me because, like I said, I have the job whatever skill set to do that job, but what would I have to give up to do that? I mean, I'm not against moving to Iceland in the future if I have like maybe a year or two to reorganize my life. Obviously, I probably don't have that long, and it's not really feasible. And of course, the big elephant in the room with me taking a job like that would be the NDA, which would mean an end to my kind of, you know, outspoken, sassy, you know, constructive criticism that I like to give CCP sometimes. But because it was an idea I was playing with, and you know, haven't ruled it out, I just thought I'd mention it to the people here. What would you guys think of me ending up as community manager at CCP? That would certainly be a very different Heracles Porsche. Anyway, I don't want to go off. Oh, and I'm sure Pokey's emotional response to that would be interesting. I'm not saying I know exactly how it'd feel, but I know for a fact it would be interesting. So Pokey, Dravon, if you're out there. tell me what you think of me ending up as community manager of CCP. I'm sure you'd be thrilled. I'm sure that's all you'd have to say on that topic. Actually, maybe you would be thrilled. Maybe you'd think it was an interesting place for me to end up in with that NDA. I don't know. I really want Pokey Dre wants feedback. I haven't heard from Pokey in forever. Really should have. You know, we kind of you know that relationship kind of cooled off, and we haven't had any kind of back and forth sass for a while. But I want that. I miss that, Pokey. Let me know what you think of me ending up as community manager at CCP. I'm sure you have enough common sense to know you don't really need to be worried about that. But anyway, but yeah, no, just an idea I was playing with. So please give me some feedback on that. Just let me know if you're being professional about the professional or silly. Let me know what you think of the idea of me ending up as the CCP cheerleader rather than the CCP constructive critic. I'm sure that would be an interesting future for me. But well, you know, no, and if I was taking it, if I was super determined to get it, obviously I'd be, you know, trying to be a little more professional with that video. But it is an interesting idea. So let's, anyway, I do want to continue to. We're halfway through the video, so I just want to continue to touch base here. I want to go over a comment that was really profoundly interesting to me, especially in this kind of new era of where progression is like part of, you know, back when this game did progression, it was kind of an, I guess it felt like a new idea to me. Obviously, I can't rule it out from in terms of multiplayer competitive progression. And now we live in the era of like Star Wars Battlefront and other things where competitive progression is just a very mainstream idea right now. So because of that, I just want to read out this post. This is from someone called Stormer248. And a lot of this, everything, obviously my feelings are a little different, but this resonates with me a lot, so I'm just going to read what he wrote here. Miss this game so much, particularly since it did something that no other online game cares to do in this generation, by saying, fuck balance. Seriously, if a new player tried to go toe-to-toe with a seasoned veteran, they would get demolished. And because of that, the game forces you to do grunt work such as operating turrets or supporting teammates until you earn your way to the top. Many people hated it, but I loved it. To start out as the weakest link and slowly get more armor, better guns, more efficient abilities, until coming out on top was just the greatest satisfaction that no other game has given me. And it really sucks because other games like PlanetSide 2 could have done this just as easily as Dust 514, but instead they tried to cater to the masses by setting all players in a pretty much even playing field with no real sense of progression. Now obviously that could, oh goodness, I have dirty spawn camping footage. I apologize for that. But anyway, this I'm sure there's a whole elaborate series of players who feel differently about progression in games and stuff. I mean, I remember seeing lots of progression stuff being introduced, even with like there was a newer one of the new games called GoldenEye, where they were, you know, a lot of people, even Titanfall, there's a lot of games out there with progression. Probably not a lot with progression anywhere near as steep as Dust 514 was, but I can't think of any game that had progression as steep as Dust 514. But really interesting, and that kind of, I don't think I followed the exact same kind of development path as this person. I think I had a lot more of, you know, my support role, one of the things I came up with early was to, I kind of a support logi that used a lot of remote explosives and uplinks, and, you know, so I guess in a way I was supporting the team. I wasn't like the guy running around trying to grab kill assists, but I was the guy, you know, running around and making sure my team had enough. I was always the guy making sure my team had enough places to spawn. But I was kind of that. I got really early on. I got into uplinks and scans, and taking CRUs, and you know, just playing the objective, but in a way I could manage to do so against players that were a lot more let's say able at comment than I am, both because of you know, what I had available, you know, in terms of armor strength, weapon strength, and so yeah, that was kind of and obviously I would take really long, and early on I remember taking some really long flanking angles. Like I would I would just we were in big environments, and I would take like a long circular, a long route out of the main path of fire to lay that uplink or get that flanking kill or something. I was a very patient player early on, and yeah, so I just kind of had that. I relate to it this post. There was a long path to building myself up to, the guy who went from just sneaking around, laying uplinks, and leaving little remote explosive traps for people, and that kind of thing, to the guy who, I mean, obviously, everyone started out with their militia suits and everything. Um, but yeah, there was a whole progression path for me. It was really made this interesting, and you know, you. But on the flip side of that, I know not everybody who had this game had the patience for that, and that sense of long-term completion wasn't for everybody, and it probably made because we do have a game where it vets completely stomp noobs. The average noob who wasn't clever enough to come up with some. I know I'm sounding a little bit like I'm tooting my own horn here, but honestly, this was a kind of game where I was just an information sponge for it. I loved absorbing literally everything there was to know about Dust 514 and coming up with a plan where I could succeed on the battlefield even knowing I didn't have the amazing gear other people did. It was an interesting mind problem for me. But obviously that's, this game earned its title. It was the thinking man's shooter. But it didn't, that's a little much for some people. A huge learning curve and getting stomped by all the people who've, already established themselves. I know that's I just know the typical psychology of the typical gamer, and I know that's a little much for most people. So I loved the environment of Dust 514, but I also know those kind of guiding principles for the game might have, if I'm just going to be brutal, contributed to the game's not lasting as long as it did. And sometimes I like games with progressions, and sometimes I love games with balance. I really like, for instance, I really liked Overwatch for a little while. I was really into it. I was really glad that the people who, that my experience at shooters counted more than how much time I grinded. And these days I'm a little turned off by games like Star Wars Battlefront 2, where, I've been a little distracted with other games, so I haven't grinded as much as everyone, and oh man, do I feel far behind compared to where everybody else is. And I play a lot of Dreadnought these days, which is definitely a progression game. It's not an FPS, but Dreadnought has a whole lot in common with Dust 514, except that you're in spaceships and not playing an FPS. But yeah, so that comment by itself was fascinating enough for me to do half a video about. So I just want to touch base on that. And then of course we do have a few. I got a really good feedback from D Beast, who just gave me the absolute thumbs up for what we're doing here, and I really appreciate that. And I hope I can pest. I know he's really busy with school, his new life and stuff, but hopefully he will come in and chime in and let me know some really great videos that you guys all deserve to see, and have my super interesting commentary put over. And there's a lot of posts about people who are just like there with me emotionally. It's just like, oh, I remember this game, I miss it so much, I feel sad I can't play this anymore, a few of those. Then those all deserve individual feedback, but I just wanted to reflect the general sentiment, But yeah, no, people like me who miss the good old days, but and the odd person who comes in confused as to how I made a video about Dust 514 when it's canceled. Special person of the week. Apparently it never goes away. But thanks for dropping by, everybody, and until next time, I shall see you Starside.